All right, no problem. All right, I'm still seeing on before. All right, so good afternoon, all. Good afternoon to all members of the public, and welcome again to one of our live stream series. I am Valmiki Singh, and I am joined by Mr. Kadim Mohammed. We are both attached to the regional administration. We are both attached to the Region Administration North Division. This afternoon, we will be explaining our farmers registration program to you to give you the details on what is it that you need to go about registering as a farmer. We encourage you to ask your questions in the live chat, and it would be addressed to the best of our ability at the end of this presentation. So our major aim this afternoon are to inform you of the different type of cards that are issued by the ministry, and basically to discuss what we call the 5 W's of farmers registration. So who can register for these cards, what is needed for registration, when to register, where to register, and why register in the farmers registration program. So the region administration note generally assigns 4 specific type of cards. The first 2 are the majority of our applicants. These are the farmers registration card green and the farmer's card beige. The green card is valid for 3 years and the beige card is valid for 1 year, right? Persons can also seek to obtain a tractor service provider card, which is valid for 3 years, and a vendor's card, which is valid for 1 year. So who can register? For any of the cards, you need to be a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. You need to be an adult, right, 18 years and over, and you need to be farming at least 0.05 hectares of land, which is equivalent to about 5,000 square foot or 1 lot of land, right? A lot of persons have the perception that you need a large expanse of land to register as a farmer. It isn't so. You just need 1 lot that is fully cultivated, right? Tractor owners could apply for the service provider card, and vendors can apply for the vendor's card. So what is needed for registration? Now, these are the general requirements. You need the original and copy of either your national ID card or your passport biodata page, right? This is to prove that you are a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. So when you work with the original, the clerk that is taking your application would check your originals, certify it, and give it back to you, right? We don't accept driver's permit, right? So you need your national ID card or the passport biodata page. You also need original and copies of all land tenure documents. These are basically for the green and the beige card. You need the most recent land tax receipt, which is 2009, and 2 passport size photos, 2 recent passport size photos. So what is needed for registration of our green cards? There are 4 specific ways you can go about getting a green card. You need to either be a holder of a state agricultural lease, you own private land, you get permission to use private land, or you are a business that either owns or get permission to use private land. Right? So when applying, if you hold a state agricultural lease, you need to work with a copy of the state agricultural lease, the most recent copy of the rent receipt or the land tax, and the original documents again must be seen. right? So this, in addition to what was previously discussed with regards to the general requirements. If you own private land, you need to work with a copy of your deed, a copy of the most recent land tax payment, which again is 2009, and the original documents again must be seen. Now, a lot of persons may not have land, right? And you can also register as a farmer without owning land, but if somebody gives you permission to use a portion of land, right? So again, minimum 5,000 square feet somebody can give you, and you can basically register as a farmer and obtain a green card. You will need a copy of the landowner's national ID card, a copy of the biodata, or a copy of the biodata page of the landowner's passport, right? Again, ID card or passport, nothing else. Right, a copy of the most recent land tax receipt, again 2009, or certificate of assessment. The land tax must state the current owner's name, sworn affidavit from a justice of the peace or commissioner of affidavit, and again, original documents must be seen. Right, so with respect to this sworn affidavit from the justice of the peace or the commissioner of affidavit, there are some specific requirements, right, that document need to state. Right, so you need to have the landowner's name, the landowner's home address, and the national ID card or the passport data, or the passport number, right? The name of the applicant to whom permission is being given, right? The farm address and the parcel size for which permission is being given. The length of time for which permission is given to use the land, so it must not be less than 3 years. So businesses can also seek to register their enterprise as farmers, right? With regards to the businesses, it must be involved in agriculture. So it's not an individual that's applying, but the business that is applying, right? The business must be registered in Trinidad and Tobago. You need a copy of certificate of incorporation, a memorandum listing the board of directors, a copy of the deed or a copy of the authorization letter granting permission to use for 5 years or more, or copy of the most recent land tax receipt. Right? Copy of the VAT registration certificate as well, if the business is VAT registered. Right, so that's it for our green card applications, right? There's the beige card as well. Now, the beige card is basically for individuals that are on state land without tenancy, but you are recognized as the occupant of that piece of land for 5 years or more by your state land section. Right, so you are not regularized on that portion of land, you don't have a lease for it, but you can still apply for a card that would be valid for 1 year once the state land section recognize you on that portion of land for 5 years or more. Right, you would need your Appendix C form, right? So the Appendix C form is basically a document that the state land office will have, right? It would be completed by the state land officers verifying that you have been recorded and unchallenged on that portion of state land for 5 years and over, right? State land occupancy does not include land demarked by the state as reserve land, right? So you can't be on a forest reserve, you can't be on a riverbank reserve or water reserve or any protected areas and get a farmer's card, right? Farmer's registration does not entitle you as well to the plot regularization, right? So apart from the green card and the beige card, we also have the tractor service provider card, right? So if you don't own land, but you provide tractor services to the community, right, you can apply for a tractor service provider card. And there are some benefits also attached to having this card as well, right? But you would need five letters from farmers attesting that you do tractor services or that you are going to do tractor services, which would be brush cutting, plowing, rotavating, right? So five registered farmers would give you a letter stating that you provide these services for them, right? And you also need proof of ownership of the tractor. So you would need the certified copy to be presented to the office, as well as the five letters, as well as everything else that were given in the general requirements, which would have been the two passport size photos, your ID card, and such, right? For persons that don't have land again, but are involved in agriculture, that are selling produce, you can apply for a vendor's card. Now, the vendor's card is the only card where a cash transaction need to be made, right? A receipt of, so you need to pay $10 at the district revenue office, right? You would walk with that receipt to your county office, right? Together with everything in the general requirements, right? And state that you're coming to apply for a vendor's card. You'd also need to have a physical place of sale, right? So when the officer comes, an inspection can be made and they can see that you are physically selling produce as well. So when should you go about applying for registration? Now, when the land has already been cultivated with crops or you have evidence of livestock farming. So again, at least 0.05 hectares, which is equivalent to one lot of land, right? So you just need 5,000 square feet of land to apply for your farmer's patch. Again, so it isn't much at all, right? When the tractor has been purchased for the tractor service provider card, or when a physical market spot or place of sale of your produce has been established for your vendor's card. Where to apply for your cards? Well, basically it's in the county where you live, not where the land is located, right? So if you live in Diego Martin, but your land is in Maruga, you make your application at the St. George West County in Farm Road and Cura. That application would be sent to County Victoria for inspection to be done. Right, so the county offices in Region North are St. George West, St. George East, St. Andrew, St. David, and County Caroni. In Region South, it's St. Patrick West, St. Patrick East, Victoria, and Nariva Mayara. Right, again, the application would be sent to the district extension officer that would call to arrange a site visit. Why should you go about registering for any of these cards? Well, ease of selling produce. You need to have evidence that you are a farmer to be incorporated into farmers markets or in any market in general, right? With recent floodings as well, having that farmer's card gives you the ability to apply for natural disaster assistance, right? So you need your farmer's card as well to prove that you are a registered legitimate farmer to apply for your natural disaster assistance. With regards to predial larceny, many times the police will be doing their routine inspections. They would try to stop persons that have produce in their vehicles, and you need to provide evidence that you are either a farmer or a vendor, right? So it's very important there as well. And of course, your farmer's card gives you the ability to apply for incentives through the agricultural incentive program, right? So you can access quite a lot of incentives as well as grants from the Ministry of Agriculture with your farmer's card as well, right? And within the next couple of weeks, we would be having another live session that would be dealing specifically with the agricultural incentive program and getting more in depth into that, right? That would be on the 13th of December, right? And yeah, that's it for our very brief presentation this afternoon. If you have any questions, you can always send them on the live chat as well. All right.
So good afternoon. We have one question from Ms. Wellington. Her question is, how much of a lot needs to be cultivated if there are tanks, pumps, and irrigation items on the land, right? So the ministry requirements are that you must have one lot of agricultural production. And yes, your irrigation system can be only one lot. We have another question. Do you need both the green card and the vendor's card to sell? Right? You can have both cards, but generally for selling, it's just a vendor's card. If you need to access the agricultural incentive program or the natural disaster program, then you will need the green card.
That's it?
Yeah, so far.
So no more.
So another question that just came on, how long does it take for you to receive rebates on purchases after registering as a farmer, right? We will answer that at our session on the 13th of December when the officer will, during his presentation, he will give you the average time frame.
Yes. All right, take it down.
Right, so we have another question. If you are doing vertical farming like hydroponics, do you still need to farm on a lot of land? So the answer is yes, that you need to be registered. Your production must be on one piece of land. However, the ministry is currently reviewing its farmers registration policy, and we are taking into consideration people who do intensive farming, such as hydroponics and vertical farming. So very soon, we'll let the public know what is the new ministry policy with regards to intensive farming.
Another question as well? The same.
So another question, what are the procedure to regularize on estate land, right? What we recommend to these persons to go to their county offices where the plot is located on a Wednesday. It is the official office day of the ministry's extension staff, and the state land officers will look at the situation and advise you accordingly. There is no cost to register for the green card or the beige card. Only the vendor's card, there's a minimal cost of $10.
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're doing a greenhouse, we'll consider that also as intensive agricultural production. And like I said, very soon the ministry will let the public know what will be the policy for greenhouse, hydroponics, and vertical farming production.
So that's it.
All right, thank you.
All right, so thank you all for joining us today. You can always visit us at any of our county offices for further information, right? Yeah, so that's it.